I'm Bambi Francisco with this segment of Lessons for Entrepreneurs, and I'm speaking with Charlene Lee. She is the founder of Altimeter Group, which is a San Mateo-based digital strategy consulting firm. Charlene, thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
So for this segment called Lessons for Entrepreneurs, we like to offer up some advice to the thousands of entrepreneurs out there who watch this segment. You have been pitched over the past, I don't know, 10 years, a decade, just from Forrester and Altimeter. Everybody wants to pitch you. Everybody wants you to talk about them, blog about them, and they probably give you a pitch deck initially just for you to look at. And I'm sure they all, at least a few of them, make the same mistakes where you totally dismiss them, or perhaps. So maybe you can just give some advice to anybody who wants to pitch you. I mean, what are some of the things that they should avoid?
Well, the hard part is getting the pitch to me.
Right.
So I get lots of emails, which is fine. I read every single email, look at every pitch. It's really about understanding what I'm looking for at that particular time, what I'm interested in researching. Someone sent me something about enterprise cloud computing. I'm like, that's not something I look at. I just don't do that kind of stuff. Right. So it's completely inappropriate.
Right.
But if it's right, and they put a little personal note on there, so it's something much more geared towards me. It's again something that I can grab onto, and the pitch itself needs to have a key differentiation. This is what we're different. This is how we add value. This is really why you want to talk to us. It's a sales pitch to really sell it to me. And then in the pitch themselves, when they get to me, they have 30 minutes. That's it, and they spend 10 of those minutes giving me background. And I'm like, I know this space pretty well. You can see everything I've done in it. I know this space. You don't have to convince me that social networking is a big deal. Right. So the best briefings I've had, and I still remember them, many of them today, were done in about 5 or 7 minutes. From beginning to end, when the entrepreneur started talking, jumps right to, no, not even a demo. It just says, this is the value, this is the problem out there that I'm trying to solve, very clearly identified, that sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, that is a problem. I never really thought about that before. Has a very clear way of solving that, clearly differentiated and explain, and then explains how they're going to make money. That's it. I just need to know those 3 things. Right. And usually the best pitches are done literally in 5 or 7 minutes. Well, that's then I remember them.
Right, right. And it also shows, that they have a focus idea. Because if it's only one problem they're trying to solve, then it shouldn't take more than 5 or 6 minutes.
And I think that's a great point. The biggest problem I see entrepreneurs doing in their businesses is they're trying to do too much. Too much in their product, too much themselves, too much in terms of their scope, audiences. They're just not, they're trying to boil the ocean because they have such big dreams.
Don't boil, yes,
and
that's
you
true.
Can't. My biggest advice when I talk to entrepreneurs, I ask them one simple question: how many hours a week are you working? And if it's significantly more than like 40, 50, even pushing to 60 hours a week, I go, how can you focus and sustain that? And they go, but I have to get everything done. Then I'm like, you're doing too many things. So it's really the ones who I find really have a good handle on their businesses also have a good handle on their lives.
Right.
And really can do the focus in terms of really focusing on what's important.
Give us 3, I won't ask you the typical 3 pieces of advice for entrepreneurs, but how about 3 pieces of advice for entrepreneurs who are trying to integrate social media into their products, say?
Yeah, I would make it much more than just saying, okay, here's a little tab on here that is a blog, or it's something that's just sort of tacked on. Really get down into how your users would want to connect with each other or with you. And pick a couple of those things and go really deep, really trying to understand where are the places that are already connecting. So if they're using other sites, like a Facebook, how are they using it around your topic area? Or are they using ratings and reviews? Or are they doing something else? And be very clear in terms of how you expect them to interact with you. Is it that you want to have a discussion with them? Or do you want to help them be supported? Or do you want to innovate new ideas with them? Or do you just want to learn from them and get their feedback? If you try to do too many things at the same time, they don't know what you want, what kind of relationship you want. So I keep going back to what kind of relationship you want, define that first, map it out over time where you want to get to, and then apply the right technologies to make those relationships work.
Do you think, last question, every startup today has to have a social component?
I don't think so. I think it lacks if you don't, but I'd rather you have one that's meaningful than one that's just sort of tacked on. Because
Okay.
it will feel tacked on, you won't pay attention to it. It'll just down the line, and you're worse off having something that's just kind of mediocre up there than having
Right.
something that's rich.
Okay. Well, thanks very much, Charlene, for your thoughts about how to integrate social media and how to pitch you. And of course, Charlene has her own show called Socialize This, so you should catch that here on Vader News. Charlene, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
I've been speaking with Charlene Lee. She's the founder of Altimeter Group. I'm Bambi Francisco.